encouraged you, helped you find peace in the midst of your storm, put in a job application to see if I was the woman for this job God called me to do, brought you along on my searching journey, asked you, was I qualified, and even told you that I was a woman of God. But through it all, one thing is for sure. I'm human, and no matter what, I have feelings. Sometimes they get hurt. Sometimes they are strong or weak. Sometimes they even make me cry. Yesterday, I sat down on my bed, and my feelings weren't hurt, nor strong or weak, but they did make me cry. Yesterday, I sat down on my bed, and I cried. Not because I am weak, depressed, or sad, or lonely. I cried because I am a woman, lost, wondering, God, has my life passed me by? As I sat there, I cried even harder as I thought of the things I gave up to be a teen mother, but smiled at the joy, knowing that without me, my kids wouldn't exist, and a little piece of me would be lost. I cried as I thought about my other kids that didn't make it, to feel my love or see how much joy I got from simply being a mother. I cried at the thought that neither of my kids had a father growing up, but prayed they appreciated my efforts and that I did the best I could as a mother. But did my kids understand for all the times I had to say no because I didn't have it? Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. I cried as I thought of the pain I caused my parents and how I loved my dad more than my mother, but knew that out of all of her children, I was most like her. I cried at the thought that the same way I felt about my mother growing up, now my daughter feels the same way about me. I cried at the thought that my daughter never knows how proud I am of the young woman she has become and all of her accomplishments in school. I cried at the thought of my daughter thinking I love her more than her brother. Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. I cried at the thought that I cursed God the day they took my son away to face capital murder charges, but had to fall to my knees and ask for forgiveness the day they set him free. I cried as I told my son how sorry I was. The man he never knew as his father let his mother and brother take 2 years away from him. And could he forgive me? I was young and infatuated. I cried as I told my son if I could, I would have traded places with him and set him free, seeing how I lived my life and his had just begun. I cried knowing that God put me and him through this as a test of our faith. Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. I cried as I thought about the foolish things I did as a young woman that put me in danger and caused harm to my body. I cried at the thought about every bad decision I made and thought if only I was a little wiser would things be different. I cried for all the lies I told and all the hurts I've caused and prayed that my sins wouldn't be passed down to my children. Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. I cried because I wondered if one day someone would love me as much as I love them. I cried because even though I'm surrounded by friends and loved ones, I still feel alone. I cried because even though I smile and say I'm okay, I want someone to see further inside me and know that it's not okay, and I want to cry. Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. I cried because as much as I want to inspire and encourage people, I wonder if my efforts will go unnoticed. I cried because I wondered if one day I'd do something awful to make God not forgive me and walk away, as so many in my life have done. I cried because I wonder, when did life get so rough and when did trusting God become so hard? Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. And after I got through crying, I wiped my eyes, looked at myself in the mirror, and smiled. I realized that through all the pain, tears, and sometimes laughter, that it caused me to be where I am today in the Lord. I realized that what God brought to me, He would bring me through it. It caused my test to become my testimony. Yesterday, I sat on my bed and cried. But like Mary said, yesterday, I cried my last tear.